Hey, welcome to another episode of the InNOLEvation Mindset Podcast, powered by the Jim Moran College of Entrepreneurship. Hey, I am Mark McNees, your host. And in studio today, we have Leonardo Georgi of Pollex Media. Yes, right.
Super excited.
I was a little scared about hitting the Pollex. I nailed it. Thank you for coming in today, Leo. And hey, tell us a little bit about your company and your journey, and just give us a little overview.
Thanks, Mark, for having me on the podcast. I'm really excited to be here. I've watched a couple episodes, and I'm just tremendously happy and grateful to be here.
We're excited to have you.
But just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm the owner of Pollex Media, the founder. We're a content agency where we do premium work. We do video production, so much like this. We focus on short-form content where we help fitness brands. We help high-end premium services like service-based companies. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing that since 2024. And local kid from Tallahassee, born and raised here, went to Florida High, went to Florida State.
Okay.
You know, I'm full-time alum, so I'm really in it.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me, though.
There's not a lot of born and raised and stayed in Tallahassee.
All the way, through and through. Blood is thick here.
So Florida High must have been brand new when you went there.
2001. So I was in kindergarten when they moved over to Southwood.
Okay.
So yes, brand spanking new.
So there was a Florida High before.
Oh yeah.
There was a Florida High.
The Florida High was attached to where the chemistry building is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you actually went.
The first year it was introduced over there in Southwood.
Okay.
Kindergarten through 12th grade, K through 12, all the way through.
How about that? Well, I'm from LA, Los Angeles, not Lower Alabama, and so it's all new to me. And when I first got here, people would refer to things that like no longer existed that used to be there like 20 years ago, like Food Lion or something. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's right across from Food Lion." And I would go, and I'm like, I don't even know what a Food Lion is and everything. They're like, well, it was there 20 years ago. And I'm like, I've been here 20 minutes. Why are you telling me about something, giving me directions based on something that was here 20 years ago? So, but Tallahassee definitely has a charm of its
It does.
own.
It's not for everyone, I'll tell you that, but it's definitely for me.
Yeah, well, no, that's awesome. So Florida High, Florida State, and now the media company, and I know you did a lot with Florida State athletics and things like that. Before we kind of like just jump into your company and everything, I'd love just to kind of hear about your upbringing, your entrepreneurial influences, if you had any, and what made you kind of like switch over and not take the normal path of getting a 9-to-5 job and going out on your own?
Well, I think that a lot of times it's in your DNA when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And I remember the first time I had my entrepreneur venture, which was, I didn't even know what it was back then. I think it was 4th or 5th grade. I was selling DVDs.
Nice.
Not selling DVDs, but renting them out.
All right.
Getting in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And then middle school, doing the same thing, trying to sell candy.
Nice.
Going to Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Trying to make a buck or two.
I
had no idea what it was, back then, but came into entrepreneurship much, much later in my life. And after a 9-to-5, which was a really hard jump. Mm-hmm. It was not easy. But yeah, I really got my start doing, small day-to-day things just like that. And then I got my big break when I graduated from Florida State in 2018 with a poli-sci degree. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to go to law school. But in reality, what ended up happening is I always knew I loved working with cameras and doing camera stuff. And I took an internship at the public defender's office in Gadsden County, and I knew instantly, I was like, this isn't for me.
This isn't for you. Okay.
What you think it is, you're going into court every day. Nah,
It's not.
It's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, I would imagine
and so that wasn't for me. And I made a huge pivot. And during COVID, I built up a huge acumen of just going out there on my own, doing free to fee work. And eventually I came into a amazing opportunity where luck meets an opportunity at Florida State. And that's when I got hired as a video producer for men's basketball and football.
All right.
And that was really my professional start, right?
How did that happen?
I mean, honestly, it was just building a huge portfolio and body of work.
Okay.
And it was just right timing. They were still building what Florida State is amazing, but they were much behind when it comes to media in terms of the ACC and Power 4.
Okay.
And so they were building their media team, to be honest with you, back in those days. And this is when it started to flourish. NIL was coming into play.
Okay.
And so it was really starting to blow up. And so recruiting, all of the stuff on social media that you see on X and you see on Facebook and Instagram, that really started to come into play, and we were kind of falling behind. And I just had the right person at the right time, and they ended up giving me an opportunity, which was amazing. And I mentor a lot of kids now, and I always tell them, people who want to get into the same kind of thing, and I say, hey, you need to have a body of work.
Right.
That's how you get proven to yourself. I was doing free stuff left and right.
Yeah.
But that gave me that huge body of work, that huge portfolio that someone at Florida State, when I applied, they were like, hey, we'll take a shot on this kid.
Nice. So, what did you actually do? Were you behind a camera filming games, or were you like post and like making like highlight reels? Like, kind of take us through what you were doing and kind of cutting your teeth on.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was pretty much wearing every hat that you could possibly wear, from editor to getting behind the camera to doing in-game stuff to doing stuff that goes on the Doak Campbell Stadium, that goes live, or that goes on socials, right? I started as a video producer, and then in 2021, and then I became the director of short-form content and social media at Florida State afterwards, after a few years.
Specifically in sports?
Specifically in the athletic department. So in charge of essentially all of the NCAA socials.
Interesting. So take me through just kind of a little more granular, so I understand, and our people who are watching and listening.
So getting a lot more like into the weeds and a lot more granular.
So are you going through, like, I'm imagining you're going through basically what was broadcast, and you're pulling out like the best clips and putting those together and putting the music behind it and all that kind of stuff? Or am I totally off?
Something similar, but a little bit different, adjacent to that. So what you see on TV is kind of broadcast, and that's separate group. They've now merged in this NIL era, but that's post my departure. Now it's all about, when I started, it's all the social media. So we would film on cinema grade cameras and make the long form content, the shows that you would see on football, on YouTube specifically. We would also do stuff that would be short form content as well.
So you guys weren't using the broadcast stuff. You're filming your own.
Yeah, completely on our own. No TV stuff. We would only supplement with TV stuff if we didn't get the shot.
Interesting.
And we'd have
what's
like
the
6 or 7.
What's the rationale behind doing it that way? Like, what's the benefit?
You're using just the glass. You get to use the look that it gives you. It just looks a ton better. It's what all the big Power 4 schools are doing. And it's something that's super important when it comes to being competitive,
right?
And in collegiate sports, whether it's bringing in recruits and bringing in talent, or and nowadays it's bolstering up the school itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I first started just doing the work, and then when I became the director of content, that kind of just naturally flowed into that position. We built up the team from like 3 interns to 20. So I started the internship program at the athletic department over there, and then we built it up to a crew of 20 people, and it was amazing. My favorite part about Florida State athletics was being able to teach the person who was completely green, who had no idea, the students who just wanted to be involved with with sports and videography and when it comes to shooting action, right?
So I need a history lesson here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me.
So my thought is, it was kind of shocking when I came from Los Angeles and came to Florida State, and they were saying they have one of the best film schools in the country and things like that. But what you're telling me is, you're a green kid who can, you're interested, and you're pulling up interns who don't know anything and everything. What's the film school doing at this time?
You know what's funny about that is that we're right next to a couple of film school classes in where we were located before they moved over. All football internal moved over to the football only facility. Right. But in that building, we're right next to the film school, or a couple classes at least. And for the most part, I never had someone from the film school be an actual intern of ours.
Interesting.
And it had to do a lot with their biases, that they thought that they were this grandioso director. And
they wanted to make film.
Or they thought that they knew better than they actually did.
Okay.
And a lot of times film students tend to get a little too artsy instead of just being like, hey, I don't know.
Right.
How do I get better? And so I always told kids when we were going through applications, and we'd go through a ton of them because everyone wants to film football, right? Everyone wants to be on Saturday night, being around Coach Norvell, being around the football team, right? All that stuff. And I told every single intern, we are not going to just get people from film school. We're going to open it up to everybody. So, and that kind of, it took me as well, because I hadn't, I was not from the film school. And so what I realized is that every single time that I would get somebody who was outside of the film school, they were just hungry to learn.
Right.
And what you need in athletics is when you don't really have a life, because it just goes 24/7. On weekends there's events, on weekdays there's events, right? It's just, you want to have to be there, right? And you want to have to learn. And that's probably one of the biggest things. And I learned so much developing my skills at Florida State. The refinement was crazy, just because of the amount of reps that you get from event to event, and from sport to sport, because it rolls one thing to another, right?
And I would imagine, I know the grind of putting out a podcast every single week, but I can't imagine, because your content gets stale real fast, right?
Oh yeah.
So you got to be quick. Like, what was your turnaround rate?
We wouldn't sleep for cinematic recaps. We used to do the cinematic recaps, and in charge of those for football specifically. And it was a team of, you'd think it'd be like a team of 7 or 8, but it was a team of 3 of us.
Okay.
There was a lot more people filming, so maybe 8 or 7 people filming a home game. But editing is the turnaround. So we're playing on, say, Saturday night in Miami or wherever we are. And we're turning it over to be posted on Tuesday morning. And this is probably a 10-minute, fully edited, fully color graded piece.
Wow.
Going through, a couple of terabytes worth of footage.
Yeah.
And just trying to tear through it and create a story from it. Not just slap it all together and make a cool edit with some music. You could do that a lot faster.
Right.
But creating a narrative of the story, and a story that showcases the school in the best light. That's a tricky thing to balance, right? You never want, whether it's showing a loss, if we show one.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, how did you handle losses?
Oh man. Depended on how bad we lose, or depended on the circumstance, right? I remember the Jordan Travis loss, or the Jordan Travis win, was so tricky to navigate, just because of what happened, when he broke his leg, and it was devastating. So it was a huge thing to navigate, and it was our biggest press conference. And of course, all this stuff happened. And time and time again, you learn to become you learn the skill of being adaptive, right?
Yeah.
Just because football is, you never know what's going to happen.
No, there can be a catastrophic injury. There could be a turnaround play. It changes everything. So, yeah, that's why they play the game, I guess.
Yeah, and so every week you had to take, drive a new narrative, right? And so one of my biggest roles was being a cinematographer. So I was in charge of, all right, getting all the juicy B-roll, getting all those good shots, in-game shots. That was my big specialty, and then handing it off to our editors, who are absolutely tremendous. They were the best.
So what was kind of like the money shot that you're like, okay, every time we got to get this.
Every time, without fail, it would be Coach Norvell's speech. Okay. Right. And I was the guy on a gimbal, and I would just walk backwards.
Doing the gimbal walk.
Doing the gimbal walk, doing the crouched little gimbal walk, walking backwards. And at this point I had, I would either have like an intern grabbing my shirt, pulling me, or I would just do it offhand if we were on an away game.
Mm-hmm.
But it would pretty much be going all the way backwards with him, with the entire team behind him. And that was always a shot we had to get. It was one of my favorite shots to get, and I cherish those moments because you feel the energy.
Right, exactly.
There's nothing like being in you feel the energy when you're in the stadium. Imagine when you're in the locker room and you feel the adrenaline of 110 kids and the coaches riling everybody up. And that is just visceral. And one of my favorite moments of just working at Florida State was getting that shot every single time, no matter what.
Nice. All right, I'm going to go the other way. Besides the obvious no shots, locker room stuff and things like that, what's something unexpected that maybe the audience or me would think, oh, we never thought that would be something that's like, hey, we don't film that.
We don't film that.
Or we don't, it doesn't make the final cut or whatever.
A lot, you would be surprised on how much doesn't make the cut. A majority doesn't make the cut because of either what they say, giving away information and intel. And a lot of it is sensitive when it comes to the words that are coming out of their mouth.
Right, exactly.
A majority of the time you have to be very finicky about whether it's pre-snap calls or whatever goes in. Even though it's something that can be seen, it almost didn't make sense because you could see it on TV. But anything that we could possibly not give when it comes to information, we would avoid that.
Was there somebody on the football team that would green light whatever your final product was?
Yeah. So the director of sports information was kind of he's like the PR guy, and he would always review things at the end. And that just goes for not just football, but all the sports.
Right.
Every single sport. There's always someone reviewing everything after the fact, just to make sure that, we're showcasing Florida State in the right light.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So outside of football, baseball, maybe track events or something like
I've done track event. I've done every single event under this sun.
Okay. What gets a lot of views that maybe aren't the big ones that we would think of? What's a smaller sport like beach volleyball or something like that?
I was about to say beach volleyball.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, don't sleep on beach, man. I love beach volleyball. One, they're incredible and they're very competitive.
Right.
So they naturally just get more attraction because they're very talented, and they always make it far. And I remember we would go to their championship. I forget what it's called right now at the top of my head, but it was always in Alabama.
Gulf Breeze. Gulf.
Yep, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh gosh,
Gulf Shores. Nope.
Gulf Shores. You're right.
Gulf Shores.
You're right. Yeah, I go to it just about every year. So I've played beach volleyball my whole life. I'm from Redondo Beach, California. Yeah. I go.
It was my favorite thing to film. One, really? Because it's a vacation to the beach.
It's a vacation to the beach. Yeah. And I coach still at Leon High School. Their girls beach volleyball, and I'm on actually the FSU beach volleyball club. That's so and faculty advisor. So I was wondering, kind of selfishly, I was wondering where beach volleyball ranks.
To me, I loved filming beach. One, because they were just super welcoming. First off, the energy over there is great. The coaching staff is amazing, and they are elite in every aspect of the way. They're super professional, the way they carry themselves, the way the team is. And the girls are super welcoming. So, when it came to content, they were like, oh, yeah, they knew when they'd have Leo, they're like, oh, we're going to get the best videos because
that's awesome.
I was either stepping in for an intern or it was a big enough event that they needed somebody who was full time.
So I would imagine knowing the game, just the key moments and stuff like that. How does somebody who doesn't play a particular sport, let's say, I don't know if you play beach volleyball or not, how do you prepare yourself to make sure that you're getting the right shots or the best shots?
Well, at first you're super green.
Okay.
You just have no idea. I remember when I did a golf event, I play golf for fun, but I had never been in one of those official tournaments, and so that was completely foreign grounds for me. And same thing with beach and a couple of other sports that I just hadn't been aware of. But when it comes to, getting the right shot, when you're experienced, you typically know what's going to be money. You know what's going to look good on camera, and the key moments, and you kind of pick up on those beats, and you get reps. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, because you know the beats of the coaching staff. And I would say the one thing that we did during my time there is we had interns, and they were allocated to the sport for the entire semester.
Oh, okay.
And the reason you want to do that is because the longer the intern or the full-time person is with the team, the more chemistry they build with them, and they get better organic, stuff on camera. So they're going to get the more raw moments. They know the exact beats of when things are happening with the coach, because every coaching staff's different. Right. Every, group of kids they act different, right? And so we wanted them there, one, to give them consistent social media output, right? But also, two, to actually establish a connection with the team.
Interesting.
And there was nothing better when you had a great intern paired with a good team, right? Because that team chemistry, that to me, 100%. The coaching staff will never think this. They think it's all coaching. Of course, it mainly is that. Yeah. But it's one of the intangibles that helps drive the student athletes, because they know that they're going to be showcased on the social media. Right. Recruits see that, and they're like, hey, ex-coach, hey, Link, man, his team's really killing it this year. Their social media's killing it. All of these things take into play when it comes to the next generation of student athletes and fostering confidence in the student athletes that are actually playing.
So what are the KPIs, the key performance indicator, for somebody like you and your team? Like, how did you know if you guys were personally getting a win, or you needed to go back to the locker room, have a talk, and pivot?
It's funny that you say that, because if you ask any coaching staff, we're never reaching their KPIs, just because of how high their demand is for social media. And how much is needed to meet those outputs. So I would say you're never going to reach that. You're always shooting for the stars, but you're always going to fall short. But in terms of KPIs, I would say it was just consistent output, whether it's graphics, photos, or videos. As long as it's consistently flowing, whether it's 3-4 times a week, then we're meeting our KPIs. And if it's game day, we need to have things. We need to have a rhythm. Is it game day graphic? Is this pre-game graphic? It's this graphic. It's this photo carousel right after. Right. You find the beats, right, of each sport, and you know exactly how it need to run. And of course, some things you can't even account for, like say someone hits a walk-off home run. You know you need that clip out. Yeah. Immediately. Right. Okay. So there is no like. The KPI for us is, I think the biggest KPI for us is when you see on the comments section, you're like, give the video team a raise. Okay. That to me is like the best thing, because it's the people talking. It's the fans saying, oh man, this was a great video, or oh man, I love this content.
Do you feel that there's a gap or tension between what the fans want to see versus what a coach or a player wants to see?
Oh, yes.
Really? So
100%.
Walk me through that.
I would say the biggest thing is that fans always want the most amount of access. And I agree. Access is key. But you're balancing that. On the other side of that, you're balancing that with a tremendous amount of pressure when it comes to, let's just use football as the example here. You're balancing with a tremendous amount of pressure from boosters, from performance metrics of outside noise, and you're introducing that. And so the more you introduce those elements, the more pandemonium you can introduce. The more how would I say this? The more crazy it can get. And so that's exactly what coaches want to avoid. They want to avoid all the distractions, all the noise, especially if things aren't going, great. They're not going swimmingly. Yeah. There's been several times where get out of here, Yeah. You just get it's time to go.
Yeah, they don't want nothing.
They don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So so tell me about like a a moment where you guys, maybe it was even unexpectedly, you captured something and it went viral, or it got a huge response in a positive way, and then I'm going to flip that coin and we're going to go the other way.
I'd say in a positive way. I think it's just these organic moments. I'd say some of the biggest ones have been like during the NFL draft when Jared Verse was drafted, when we had a bunch of draftees, and he just had a personality to him. So everything that we would get from him was just absolute gold. And so that to me was easy virality points.
Okay.
And a lot of things, when things are going great for the team, it tends to go viral pretty quickly, or any crazy catch that you get tends to go viral pretty quick.
All right. Now I'm going to put you on the spot, put you in the hot seat. So what has there ever been like something that you've included and you're like, oh, this is awesome, and you got like just massive pushback on it?
No, because
Really?
you know why? Because I learned very quickly when things are going to get killed.
Okay.
You know, and so we wouldn't even try it.
Okay.
I learned very, very quickly. I was like, oh, this would be cool to put in. No, that's not going in.
That's not going in.
Nope, he doesn't get enough playing time. Nope, not going in. Oh, nope, this person's been injured. Not going in.
Not going in.
Nope, this person, it's too embarrassing for our offensive player. It's too embarrassing for our defensive player. That one clip isn't going to go in from practice, or tons of those examples.
Okay.
You know, that you're just, because you're balancing showcasing the team in the best light.
Right. Exactly.
And of course, in something like football, where in practice they're going against each other, there's always that at play. There's so many things when it comes like that, and I've been a part of so many moments where I was a part of that whole 2023 season. So we dealt with thinking that we're going to get into the college football playoff, the CFP, and obviously we didn't.
Right.
Other moments where we think we're gonna someone's gonna get drafted early than they thought.
Right.
They don't get drafted the entire day, and we have a camera pointing straight at their face the entire.
Oh, man, that's tough.
It's tough. It is really, really tough. And they're 21-year-old.
Yeah,
They're like 20 years old.
Yeah, I have them as students, and it's funny, when I was a kid and I would watch college football and everything, I think they were like these big adult, grown men.
They're kids.
Yeah, they're kids.
Yeah, they're
under
kids.
a lot of pressure.
So much, and it's only risen in the era of NIL.
NIL,
right?
yeah.
It's huge now. So
yeah, no, that's insane. I've been a public speaker my whole life. I've done tons of just presentations, and I wish I was learned as fast as you, but somebody told me a little saying that I had to make it my mantra: when in doubt, leave it out.
Oh yeah.
and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be funny, and I'm like, you know what, I have a little bit of doubt, I shouldn't say it.
It's funny because sometimes we would send clips to our sports information director just to mess with him.
Yeah.
Knowing that it was a complete
Right.
it could not go in, but
Right.
just as a funny quip to just be like, hey, you laugh at this, or he'd be like, definitely kill that piece of footage. So the amount of footage that we have, and I still have archived, of just crazy moments that you'd be like, wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, they'll never see the light of day. And of course, I want to showcase my school and my alma mater in the best way possible.
No, exactly. So let's finish up on this section. It has it evolved from it seems like a huge job for just interns and stuff like that, or have you seen kind of the industry of what you do or did for FSU grow into something that more they're hiring people to do, or is it still the same way? It's interns.
I mean, it's tough because when NIL has now grown from, it used to be third-party entities paying players, and now each Power 4 school has $20 million that they can allocate towards their funds, towards paying players and facilitating that. You're going to see a reduction in every single department. A massive reduction.
But you would think you're driving that NIL.
You would think that, and I would agree with that statement. But the most significant driving factor to pulling any large, team or any high quality team is, in this era, it is money. And besides the wins and losses and stuff like that. And so every single department sees a cut, in their budgets, right? And so it's tough to see that, but it's just the reality that we're in nowadays. And teams who are hyper competitive, let's just use like our enemies down south, Miami, they're willing to live in the gray and get their boosters to pay well beyond that.
Right.
So, and sometimes you got to play by the rules, and sometimes they don't.
Interesting.
And so, of course, I would like to see it much larger than what it is now, because of how much, in my biased opinion, right? I think how important it is to recruits, to getting people, because you're feeding into their ego.
Yeah, well, 100%, and especially in the age of NIL, that's part of the decision of what school you go to is how well they portray their players and basically make them famous, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the first things that, first thing that you always hear is, can I get the check mark, or what are you guys going to do for me, for my personal brand?
Right.
And if you don't have a really good answer for that, because let me tell you, other SEC schools and other Power 4 schools do, they have invested a tremendous amount of money into these things, recruiting and video production and photo and sets and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, into this kind of stuff. And if you don't compete and stay competitive in that realm as well as alongside with the wins and losses of the performance of the team, you're going to fall behind and you're going to miss out on some of those recruits.
Yeah, I mean, people will decide, not only athletes will decide to go to a school, but just people will decide, potential students will be like, oh, wow, that looks like a cool place to go.
Oh, yeah.
One of the biggest surprises to me about starting this podcast is not massive amounts, but I've had several students come up to me and say, hey, you're the reason I'm at FSU. And I'm like, what did I do? And they're all like, and they said, I was Googling entrepreneurship programs for colleges, and the podcast came up, and I watched a bunch of the episodes and said, that's super cool. I want to go to a college that's amazing. That they're really active in entrepreneurship, and the students, because we have a lot of students' businesses that we interview them here everything. And they're like, they chose to come to FSU and the Jim Moran College because of this podcast, which my wildest dreams was not part of the goal or that KPI of like how many recruits can we get. So that's been kind of like this side thing, but I could imagine with sports, I mean, especially for the athletes, like, hey, you know what? I want to go to a school that's going, to capture my moments and promote them.
And the great thing about Florida State is that what it has is that it is the pinnacle of college athletics in a lot of respects. It's got a lot of history, right? Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, you name the sport, smaller sports, golf, like there is a lot that goes behind that, a lot of tradition, a lot of history. So it already has brand name, right?
All right.
And so which is great. And same thing with students, they love coming here. But stuff that and Craig, congrats on the podcast, because that's amazing to hear. Like when you hear a student came to Florida State because they were influenced through your podcast.
Yeah, it makes me want to do a better job. It's like, wow, I've been just so surprised. I mean, you're sitting in the studio, it's not much, and we, we put it together, and I feel like this little podcast punches above its weight each and every week.
100%. And the College of Entrepreneurship, is tremendous. I mean, everything about it is top of the line. You go to the building over there in North Monroe.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous, and you can feel the energy of the entrepreneurs and of the students there. I love being a part of that and being entrenched into that, because I'm a mentor with the College of Entrepreneurship, because I don't have all the answers yet. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that's the most honest thing I can tell to a student, right? The most honest thing I can tell is, hey, I don't have all the answers. I'm figuring them out as I go. Look at me still doing it and figuring it out. And so I love being a part of, everything that May has going on over there. And
she's doing a great job.
Really, the whole team over there with Jim Moran Institute as well. Marina, she is absolutely one of one. She is she's an absolute killer.
Oh, yeah, she's fantastic, and definitely want to get into all that. What I would like to do now, though, if it's okay with you, let's finish up your time at FSU and doing the sports, and you made the pivot to starting your own company. Tell us more in depth about what your company does, your sweet spots, and what was the catalyst for you saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to go all in on this. And tell us about the journey. What's gone well? What's been harder than you thought it was going to be? Kind of. I want what you try to capture. You know, I want to capture the emotion and the good times and the hard times, the gut check times.
I think that the hard times, I'm still in them, which is. Honestly, I love that. I love the fact that I'm still on that climb, on that journey myself. I think really to give you a little bit of a timeline, when I got hired was in 2021, and then I left in 24.
Okay.
After football season, right about the start of 2025, close to December. And that's when I said, you know, I made the commitment. I made the leap of faith that every entrepreneur has to make. And, you know, at one point, you know, you have to decide, are you going to stay in this job?
Right.
Do you see yourself doing this for another 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
Or do you want to commit to something brand new and walk into the doors of the unknown?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of when I made that jump. And crazy enough, I made that jump when, you know, my wife was, you know, 7 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So it was a huge change for me. Those first 12 months, the amount of change that I experienced and the amount of, you know, you thinking that you're going to figure it out. Oh, I'm just going to start making so much. I'm just going to get clients, do this full time, and it's just going to go swimmingly, right? And it did not. It did not, to say the least. But thankfully now in 2026, we did more in 2026 in Q1 than we did in all of 2025.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
And that's just been through not giving up, right? Through staying the course and being okay with the bad times and knowing that the suck, you have to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Just because that builds the fortitude. And don't get me wrong, you get those weak points, right? You get the points of weaknesses. I remember I applied to a couple of interviews to get some jobs.
Yeah.
I did. I took those interviews, and I think the key moment when I said I am 100% going to either swim or swim, because there is no drown. Right. I'm just going to swim, right? Was I had a moment of weakness, like I said, an interview with a top 4 SEC, Power 4 SEC school.
Okay.
One of the, you know, I won't name the school itself, but it was clearly one of the best schools in the nation to be the director over there for football and for everything. And it was the largest amount of money I said no to.
Okay.
And I just sat with my wife and I said, hey, you know, I have this opportunity, but I'm going to have to close the book on, you know, wanting to be a business owner, wanting to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, a huge pivotal decision for me because I had never seen that amount of money.
Yeah.
And I was not making that kind of money either.
Right.
You know, I'd significantly cut my wages as soon as I went full time. And, you know, I prayed about it a lot and then talked about it with my wife. And then I just, at that moment, when I said no, it was to me, it lit another fire. And that's kind of where things started to take off in a good way, right? That's when Pollex Media, I'd get fully surrendered myself to Pollex Media and to trying to make Pollex Media what it is, you know, and hopefully what it will be. Right? Yeah. And so that's kind of what how Pollex Media kind of got its legs.
Yeah.
And now it's what we do again is what we service, you know, premium business. So we're B2B. We help other businesses when it comes to their content. And there's been a huge shift in social media. It used to be, right, amass as many followers as possible.
Right.
And a portion of your audience will get your content. And now we've shifted into what we call interest media. It's all based on the For You page. And I talk about this a lot. And it was dubbed by, I believe, Gary Vee. Okay. Gary Vee dubbed this mechanism of interest media.
Okay.
And it really all changed in 2018 because of TikTok with the For You algorithms.
Okay.
And when this happened and this shift started to happen, it no longer became about, amass a huge following.
Mm-hmm.
It started to become about, how can I talk to my audience? And each individual piece of content, that matters way more now than trying to be absolutely consistent, trying to do all these things. And that's exactly what we try and embody at Pollex Media. So we do a lot of this when it comes to short form content specifically, because you can pay, another agency 5, 10, 50, whatever, amount of money to make a commercial. But if the creative isn't good, if it isn't tested organically and it isn't performing organically, then it was a waste of money, right? And so now what works, and it's all about having a strategy behind it. And now what works is a lot more output, right? And that's kind of our whole model behind business, behind Pollex Media when it comes to specifically businesses, right? And we try and, service when it comes to content strategy and executing from pre-production all the way to posting it for you, running your ads, really building a content engine for a business.
Okay.
And servicing and making social media making social media where you can get your best and warmest leads.
Okay.
Because that's what social media is nowadays.
Interesting.
A lot of times business owners, they have it built up in their head, oh, this is just a box I have to check. This is just something that I have to do. And they usually just give that off to the intern, or they're barely posting because they know they have to. And they're just posting what they want to post, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're posting just to showcase what they do as opposed to attract who they want to come into the business.
Gotcha. Interesting. So do me a favor and think of what's a company that you would look at and say, man, I could help them. And so I don't want you to mention a specific company, but like a type of company that would be like your ideal customer who's doing well, and they're chugging along, but you look at it and go, man, if I could sprinkle my pixie dust on this company, it would take off. Kind of paint that picture for me.
Yeah. So ideal ICP is kind of, for me, we've kind of already tapped into it, which is great. Is law firms. Law firms.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
They need deal flow. They need leads. So they need a lot of leads when it comes to getting business.
Okay.
Personal injury, criminal, tons of lawyers need deal flow coming in. And a lot of the times they're doing the traditional they're spending a lot of ad dollars already.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to any billboards.
Yeah.
But ironically, if you have two lawyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're solo practice or they have a large law firm,
Mm-hmm.
two lawyers, and they're spending the same amount of ads, ad dollars.
Right.
And one of them is doing it on radio, they're doing it on TV, they're doing it on billboards, all the traditional stuff, right? Sally, who needs their services, is driving, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, looking at person B's social media ad, social media organic content.
Right.
And that's influencing her way more than some billboard that she's driving by and not even paying attention to.
So would you go so far to say you're almost a consultant, a brand consultant as well, and you're basically doing for other companies what you did for FSU? Hey, we're going to paint you in your best light. We're going to make what important thing you're doing like interesting, and where people will want to digest it. Am I hitting the target, or am I way off?
Right on the money.
Okay.
Because what we do is it's always doing what are the top creators under 1 million followers doing in your niche, right? And researching that, and it's seeing what is working already. What is the algorithm saying is good content? What's working, and then repeating those formats and marrying that into for whatever business that is, for whatever niche that is. Let's just use lawyers, right? What are the top 5 content creators that are under 1 million, right? Because 1 million and above, the numbers are a little bit skewed. and then looking at their most successful. This is essentially content strategy here. And you can do this by hand, or you can do this with many AI tools. We use tools, right?
Yeah.
But the by hand version of it is, say you're a law firm, looking at those top 5 creators and seeing what reels have performed 5x their average viewership.
Okay.
So let's use 100. Let's just use 100 views, right? If you're researching those top 5 creators, right, or 10 creators even, you're seeing if they average 100 viewers and they have one video that averages 500 viewers, well, that's something to take note of.
Okay.
And that, that's when you look at what type of format did they make? What was in the title? How was it cut? All of these things. And it all comes into content strategy. So it's very much so building a brand around that. But building a brand around that and what's already working in the algorithms. Because that's the new era, right? The new interest media era is all about organic social media content. It's no longer about, spend a lot of money and push this ad and it's going to do great.
Right.
No, it's all the key essential differentiator is the creative itself. It is the piece of content.
Interesting.
And that's kind of what we embody.
Okay. I love it. So Pollex, tell me about the name.
I love that. I'm so glad you asked me, because people are like, how do you pronounce that? What is it?
Yeah.
So Pollex and the logo itself is Latin for thumb.
Oh, okay.
So, and because social media, you're scrolling with your thumbs.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the derivative of the name itself.
Okay.
And so it's all about, content. It's all about specifically mobile heavy, but we do stuff for website. We do stuff for all the things. It's for each client, it's roughly the same thing. Fixing the website, fixing what's outwardly wrong already, and then creating a strategy and then building on that for long term.
So when you think about certain industries like lawyers or something like that, I don't know anything, but I wouldn't imagine TikTok would be the right platform for them. Maybe, but you brought them up. I would think more like X or LinkedIn or something like that. I guess, how do you think about platforms and what makes sense for different clients, or am I just thinking wrong on that?
Well, if you're a B2C, right? If you're a B2C person, like let's just say lawyers, right? They're B2C for the most part. Where are those clients at?
Okay.
That's where you have to be thinking first things first. And for example, for a SaaS company that they're B2B, they're on LinkedIn.
Right.
They're on those platforms that are going to be more B2B heavy.
Right.
Now, if you're B2C like lawyers, it's going to be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right? And of course, building brand presence on LinkedIn. So we're all about posting on all of those platforms and having a different content strategy for each one.
Okay, interesting.
So it's not just let's fire off a video. It's, hey, how can we curate this person and start building them up on LinkedIn consistently, whether it's through video content or photo content, and having a consistent presence on all of them.
That's interesting. And it's so funny. I've been on Facebook in so long. When you said Facebook, I was like, Facebook?
You're like, what is that? Meta, should I say?
Meta, or yeah, really. No, I was thinking are you on MySpace as well? But
I was on MySpace.
You were, so was I. I don't even know if it's a site anymore. Maybe
I have no idea.
I mean, AOL is. So my parents have AOL.
Yeah.
Whenever I get an email from somebody with AOL, I'm like,
AOL or Yahoo.
Yeah, or Yahoo. Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing here? So actually, I was helping my parents out the other day, and they needed me to do something on AOL, and it was like going back to the 1900s, like 1996. Like, I don't think they've changed anything.
I don't even know how it operates still, because they've just not adapted.
They haven't. They haven't. Era. Well, they're
same thing with Yahoo.
I haven't been on Yahoo.
Ironically, I dealt with this with my in-laws. I was helping them out, and they had a Yahoo account. I'm like, you still haven't received my email? Like, why don't you check your husband's Gmail account?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's already there.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Or what was the other one? Hotmail.
Hotmail. Yeah. That's the old version of Outlook, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, that was a Microsoft thing.
Yeah, that was a Microsoft.
Oh, product. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy how it changes and everything. Are you seeing an up and coming platform that could rival TikTok or anything?
When it comes to TikTok, I mean, TikTok is king when it comes to virality, right? But TikTok is less so strategy. I mean, I don't think that there's necessarily. I think the platforms are kind of set for now. I'm always looking for what's the newest platform out there. I mean, if you're into the retail and you're into reselling, I would or selling any product, physical product. Whatnot is probably the best place to go to right now.
Better than like Pinterest.
Oh, 100%.
Really?
So Whatnot is a platform that's built specifically for people like you and me who want to, whether it's selling baseball cards or it's selling, stuff that you'd find, the most niche kind of product. You make hand woodwork, right? All of this, it's live social shopping is the concept.
Interesting.
And and this is what TikTok's leaning into heavily right now. And you'll see that if you're on those algorithms. But Whatnot is probably the king of doing this right now. And of course, I tell people it's, if you're into that space, you should definitely look into that kind of platform. So that's the first kind of platform that comes to mind. But other than that, the platforms are very much set right now to be determined. We still haven't had yet something that rivals the TikTok. We just see the competitors competing with one another right now.
Well, I mean, a lot of the tech guys, the techies, are talking about the migration from the phone, right? And that the phone is going to become obsolete.
I mean, I have these Meta glasses.
Oh, you got
right
your
here.
Meta glasses there, and I need to talk to you about those. My dad's blind, and I've been thinking about getting him a pair, so I'd love to dive in with you on that.
I use that just for BTS content because it's the lowest lift content that I can do without having to try super hard, and just boom, push a button. And you're good to go.
Yeah.
You're rolling. And you can also get them prescription if you need a prescription as well.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I don't know how powerful they are, and I really haven't looked into it, but there's actually, it hit my YouTube algorithm.
They got you.
Because my dad's blind, and I look stuff up to see if I can help him with stuff. I got tuned into this podcast where this blind guy who's into tech, he reviews different tech that helps people with visual impairment and stuff like that. And
the AI that's integrated, the Meta is integrated. I mean, it's not the best AI out there, right?
That's what he was saying.
But it's serviceable. If you have, impaired vision and you're asking, hey, Meta, what am I looking at? It's going to tell you exactly what you're looking at. And it sounds like it's inside of your head. As weird as that sound is, it's craziest thing when I tell us, I'll have you put them on after the podcast, and you'll instantly hear whoa, it sounds like you're listening to music or to listening to Claude or whatever AI talking to you.
Interesting.
Almost inside of your eardrums, but it's right there, and you can hear everything else.
Does it have facial recognition?
I don't know if it has facial recognition. I haven't delved too deep into it. To me, it's like the biggest leverage for content creation, right? That's the main reason I bought it. And
I saw somebody got some Oakley ones that are Meta driven, and they were playing volleyball. In that it was a completely different experience watching them play volleyball from his
point of view
or her. I don't even know if it was his or her, but whatever. From their point of view, it was really, really interesting.
Oh yeah, the POV content is doing super well when it comes to social media, which is another reason why I got them. And because Meta created these, they're gonna push you'll see it at the bottom of the screen, made by Meta, made with Meta, when it comes to on Facebook or on Instagram. And so those algorithms know that content is being created through those Meta glasses, and they're going to want to push their product, right?
Yeah.
And so this is an easy low lift thing that you can do in order to get more traction on social media, whether you do POV content for beach volleyball or whether you're making content showcasing how you're creating content for your clients, right?
Yeah. So my POV, it was me teaching my class and all my students looking at TikTok. so that would be my POV.
I hear you.
So, as someone who does a lot of public speaking and everything, like, could I see my notes and stuff in that?
Well, I think so there's two versions. If you buy the ones that are just the cheaper versions like I have, you can't see a screen.
Okay.
But you could buy I think it's like $800, $700, and you could see an actual screen, and you could see actual notes. It's another level, right?
Yeah.
Of augmented reality built into the glasses, and you can move things with your finger, especially if you get the wrist attachment. It's actually quite incredible.
No, that is really incredible. Like, I was thinking for my dad, you can't read a menu at a restaurant, right? And would it does it have the capability, if you look at something, it could read it to you?
I'm fairly certain, yes.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And
this is the worst the technology will ever be.
Exactly.
And it gets better. You know, that's how AI, that's how these products work. Right now is the worst that it'll ever be. It's only going to progress and get better and get more intuitive.
And what's the how often do you do updates on it?
Updates? I'm not sure how many updates. This is a recent purchase for me. It does lose battery quite pretty quickly if you're listening to music and you're using it to talk to AI, and that's pretty much all I do in the car. I don't listen to music anymore. I just put on the glasses and talk. But it's cool because you can put it into its pouch, and that really nice Ray-Ban pouch charges it back up.
Okay, gotcha.
And it does it fairly quickly.
All right, cool. So basically, is it all through like a Meta app where you have to have, it's almost like the Apple universe where you only can use their approved kind of things, or how does it work?
Well, it saves to your camera roll. So say you take a video, right? Beep, you take a little video right here, like here, we can take one right now.
All right.
I could just
put them on. We're talking about it.
Talking about it, right?
Most people watch this thing too. Okay,
so,
they look good.
Like immediately, I can take a video, right?
All right.
All I have to do is just hard press right here.
All right.
And then.
Well, you're going to have to take a video and send it to me, and I'll edit it in.
Yeah, of course. Just so you can have the POV, right?
Yeah.
And so the way I know it's on, all right, it's now on. I can see a button right here, and you'll probably see a light pop up. It just told me how much the battery was. You probably heard that.
No, I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see the light. Okay.
And so now that was a photo. One press is a photo, and then one hard press. Now we're recording a POV view of our podcast here.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so it's an easy clip, and it immediately syncs up to the Meta app.
Really?
And then you can just push it straight to your camera roll, and it'll be available on in your drafts if you want it. And boom, there you go. It's a piece of content that immediately can go out.
Yeah.
And it's super low lift, whether it's a story you put out or whether it's a piece of content that you put out on the main feed. It's just an easy way to get a good win for social media. I would highly recommend it for a lot of content creators when it comes to if they want to stay consistent and they don't want to try and do the most amount of effort.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. And are they progressive lenses? Like when you go outside, are they sunglasses?
Yeah, there's transition versions of this. I don't think I got the transition version.
Okay.
Even though they kind of look like they darken up a bit.
Right. I thought that's why I was wondering. With the lights, they look like they went a little bit darker.
Maybe I'm not sure. But I know that there are transition versions. I'm pretty sure I got the ones that just stay the same.
Okay.
Just because I didn't need that. But you can totally get the ones that transition, or you can get the transition with a prescription if you need prescription.
Yeah, well, you'll definitely have to send me that video.
I will definitely.
I'll splice it in, and I think people will geek out on it. I think they'll like that.
I mean, I think it's great because it can record up to 3 minutes, right?
Okay.
And then immediately you can just roll into another video.
Okay.
And it's perfect if you want to be not, obviously use at your discretion, but you can be a little bit more discreet.
Right.
And you don't have to have, a camera in somebody's face because that changes the dynamic of what kind of reaction you can get or what kind of content you get. It's a little bit more just organic, raw. And that's what's doing really, really well on social media. If you can get raw, organic type of videos on social, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, it doesn't matter the platform. It's going to perform well because it's authentic.
Once it gets facial recognition, that'll be money. That'd just be great. Wow, that would just make you such a better networker.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that it might already be there, or the rudimentary steps of it is there.
Okay. You think Meta...
It can recognize who you are.
I mean, Meta, our phones all recognize who we are,
exactly.
and our computers do, and Meta
The technology's already there.
has all our pictures, right? And like how we move and everything. So, I mean, yeah, the data at least is there. And and the technology is there. Is it just in the classes?
Yep. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. So,
well, cool. Going back to Pollex and kind of paint a picture for me, like what's success for you? What does that look like? Because that's everybody views success differently, right? Some people, you know, that's time with their family. You know, for some people, that's a private jet. What's success? What are some of the milestones that you'll celebrate along your journey? And then ultimately, you know, when you look way down the horizon, what does it look like?
I think to me, success is probably one. I think a lot of people get that tripped up. Success is the mindset, right? If you are in the right mindset of being an entrepreneur, you are already successful, right? Even though you might have material success is, I think, something separate.
Yeah.
But success in at least Pollex Media is the journey of building a content agency, building this, you know, larger than life content agency here in my hometown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I wanted. To me, a huge milestone is going to be when we have our own building, which we're in the middle of doing.
Okay.
It's in Midtown as well. And so it's something that's in the works, and it's going to be a space where we can have exclusively our partners there. And it's not just a place you can, if you want to go to a studio, you can go to many places offer studio spaces here where you can do a podcast, do a shoot. It's more so going to be a place where founders, business owners, Pollex Media, and students alike can come together under one roof and have a collaborative setting where students can see and other, whether it's marketing directors, whatnot, and where students can see that this is a place where it's a whole collaboration and it's a whole network of education. Because to me, if you're educating, whether it's the next generation or other business owners on how to be successful on social media and content, that is the win. That is the quintessential piece of success for me.
Okay.
And so I think that's the biggest thing is generating that, because that's the number one goal right now.
All right, cool. And as I was mentioning before, you know, this is the InNOLEvation mindset, and I'm authored a series called the CEO Mindset Reset, which is a daily reflection that CEOs do. Go through the book. It takes about 3 minutes, and it's just meant to set your mind right for the day, to go out and
I love that.
and just do it.
I'm gonna have to get a copy.
I'll give you a copy right after. There's one sitting right here.
Let's go.
Hold it up. This is gonna be your copy.
Oh man. I'm honored.
So yeah, volume 2 is coming out in a few weeks, so I'm really excited. And all 4 volumes are written, and it's progressive. So the first one is really kind of accessible, basic, kind of like leadership, kind of like stuff like reminders, which I think is good for people who are seasoned as well. Just sometimes it's good to, you know, refresh, and it gets. My vision for it is you get into like deeper kind of stuff as you progress through the series. And it's a pretty simple format. The first thing is kind of like a normal situation, an anecdote about like what a normal business person's going through, you know, employee problems or whatever. And then there's the mindset reset, which I actually do like a really short case study on an actual CEO who faced a similar problem and overcame it. And then there's like a reflection, and then there's a practice piece. Like, okay, this week I'm going to, like, it's almost like I'm going to make this commitment. I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
And it's all like really small, like kind of like 1% kind of improvement. But over a year, 1% per day improvement adds up.
Yeah. And one thing I learned, having the right mindset is so crucial. And I talk to students with mentoring and stuff like that, and I always tell them this. It's like, if it's 70%, fire it off.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than staying in the halls of lament and staying in the halls of, oh, I need to perfect this.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done that for so long. I did that for so long, trying to, oh, I need to perfect this before I put this piece of content out.
Right.
Oh, I need to perfect this and learn this perfectly so I don't feel judged. I can, you know, it's getting over that is huge as a entrepreneur, as a business owner. I think that that's so important to have, and when it comes to mindset. And I've learned that over the last, you know, definitely over the last 18 months, is learning that exact mindset to have and being able to, again, embrace that, like the step back, you know, the 5 steps that you're going to take back before you take 1 step forward.
Yeah.
It's, if you don't have that hardened mindset, things usually won't go your way and you might just end up giving up. I think that one of the biggest things that you can have with mindset is just sticking with it. It's not about how long or how hard the journey is. It's about how long did you go without giving up or get back up if something did, set you back. It's really just about that and just going before you're fully ready.
Yeah, my mom used to say, persistence wears resistance. You just keep on going.
Exactly. Mom knows best.
Yeah,
Mom knows best.
Mom does know best. Well, I really appreciate you coming in. This has been a fascinating conversation and really, really interesting. I always ask my guests before we finish up the podcast this one question. And this one question is, Leo, if you could go back and tell yourself one thing before you started Pollex, what would that one thing you would tell yourself?
Surrender to God, number one.
Okay.
Is keep the faith and stay strong. And again, like I said right before this, is you will always be successful if you just take that leap of faith even before you're ready, because you'll never feel ready enough.
Never be ready until you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Got to go do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the InNOLEvation Mindset Podcast, powered by the Jim Moran College of Entrepreneurship. If you like this episode, and how could you not, hit that like button and definitely hit that subscribe button so you never miss another amazing episode. We'll catch you next time.